Hey friends, welcome to chapter 14 of our science fiction book read along. This week we will be reading chapter 38 of the book The Terraformers by Annalee Newitz. Next time we will skip ahead till 42 and then we're getting close to the end of the book here. So we'll wrap it up in not too many sessions after that. But as always, leave your thoughts and comments on the comment section of the video. And with no further ado, chapter 38. Home on the route. 5 days later, they flew out of the northern vertebrae mountains, and the rains hit right on schedule, cascading down the barren peaks that fed the Eel River. Shedding water, Scrub Jay slowed as they approached the prairie farms that surrounded the city. From the air, the wheat looked like a luxurious textile woven at great expense. Moose had created a tiny piece of home in one of the modest sleeping boxes that Scrub Jay reserved for small quadruped passengers. They unpacked their saddlebags, laying out a soft blanket and a few devices for recording and transcription. It was nice to have someone around who wasn't a passenger, but there was also something uncomfortable about it. Talking to Moose made the train want to analyze people's conversations again, especially the ones involving Moose, which were a lot of them. Moose's easygoing prickliness made them an amusing companion for nearly everyone. The cat would talk to anyone about anything: wine, interstellar politics, games, speciation, construction, molecular engineering, rent prices, hopes for the future. Scrub Jay wasn't sure if Moose was exceptionally knowledgeable or had an uncanny ability to cozy up to people and pump them for whatever information they had. Probably a little bit of both. They were, after all, a writer for the Messenger. Their job was to create meaning from the haze of social information that Scrub Jay had pointedly ignored for years. The fiery skyline of L'Orange glowed in the distance. Purple holographic flames spurted into the air over downtown, where all the theaters and fancy restaurants were clustered. Moose poked their head out of the sleeping box and leaped down to an empty seat below, texting as they went. "We're home, just in time to turn in my story." Scrub Jay assigned one process to broadcast their standard "Find Your Belongings" message to passengers, while another texted with Moose. "What are you working on? Is this the big story you told me about earlier?" "It's related. I've been researching some suspicions I have based on this tip I got." The cat passed the train a text file which read, "I'm slaved at Verdance, and I do some work on the licensing department. You should look into who originally manufactured the Homo sapiens germline that Verdance licensed to everyone who bought land on Sasky. Something extremely smelly there. Data source, tip sent to the L'Orange Messenger, anonymous drop, May 60,610. Scrub Jay was surprised. "I thought Verdance built their own Homo sapiens line and then licensed it to Emerald and all the other buyers." The oval landing pad of L'Orange South Station loomed ahead, and the train initiated a descent spiral. The cat used a back leg to scratch an ear. "Apparently not. I've been following some leads, and then, thanks to you, I found something very intriguing." Moose rubbed their face and shoulder against the thick rubber frame of the front windows, a gesture of gratitude. "What did I do?" the train asked. They'd almost outrun the rain, but now here it was, prisming the sunlight into its constituent wavelengths against the dark gray clouds. Below, the farms were striated with roads and canals that occasionally pulsed with vehicles. Verdance still owned the city, and they put strict limits on traffic. Most people had to leave their cars in the suburbs, trading them for mounts or public transit as they approached the city. Moose stood in the window, watching a barge letting off passengers at the station below. "You let me stay on board, and that's how I met Ginkgo. She does survey work for Verdance and has access to all kinds of archives. She found me some internal discussions from the 57,000s about whose germlines would get packaged with the real estate deals." They sent another text file with the Verdance logo at the top. "We've struck a deal with Genetrix to license their new indigenous Earth germline for wild-type Homo sapiens. This paves the way for our Homo sapiens packages on Sasky. Contract details attached. Data source, archived memo from Cylindra, 2497. Verdance Corp, 57,544. Leak provided by trusted anonymous insider." Scrub Jay guessed that Ginkgo was the trusted anonymous insider. Vocalizing by speaker for the whole train, Scrub Jay welcomed everyone to L'Orange. "We'll be landing at South Station in 5 minutes and continuing on to Verdance Station and Boreal Station. Almost at the end of the line, folks, so make sure you have all of your belongings." Meanwhile, they texted to Moose. "I've always wondered about those package deals where you get a Homo sapiens body with your Sasky real estate. I wouldn't want to give up my body to live somewhere. There's something disturbing about it. The cat flicked the tip of their tail, focused on something. I have a hunch that it's going to get a lot more disturbing when people find out how Genetrix got that Homo sapiens material. As they drifted down to the landing pad, the city seemed to grow more imposing. Purple shadows shimmied on the walls of the soaring towers that ring the city, offering residents an unimpeded view of the perfect Pleistocene landscapes beyond. Between the super talls were slices of frenetic metropolitan life, with wriggling storefront brands chasing each other across rooftops, and open-air markets stacked 8 stories high. Baskets on pulleys hoisted people up to buy freshly pressed oil or lowered steaming meal boxes prepared by pop-up kitchens for the cafe crowds below. The only remaining Verdant's offices on Sasky were at the heart of Old Town, hidden behind centuries of monumental architecture. In 15 minutes, Scrubjay would arrive at the station next to the corporation's low-rise campus, where engineers and bureaucrats worked in domos with one of the planet's few direct links to the wormhole data feed. As their feet connected with the ground, Scrubjay got a quick burst of messages from Peach and 2 other trains insisting that they start grinding on Sunbuilders immediately. Apparently, a hostile empire was threatening their guild's holdings. The train outmaneuvered a mining fleet, opened all their doors for passengers, and analyzed what Moose had texted a few seconds ago. What's wrong with the Homo sapiens material? I mean, other than the obvious problems with Homo sapiens being annoying and narcissistic. The train emitted a quiet hoot of laughter from a speaker near Moose's ear. I need to investigate more, but their supplier, Genetrix, is pretty shady. There was some kind of internal controversy, and then the CEO left and the company imploded. Moose broke off, curled in a tight ball in the seat, and closed their eyes. Listen to this story. The cat sent a chunk of audio from a file called Genetrix CEO Archie Bellany is stepping down after Homo sapiens controversy. Bellany's company is one of the most successful in the Homo sapiens germline space, providing the feedstock for billions of successful decantings. Genetrix has stressed integrity in its branding. They claim every genome they license is synthesized directly from wild-type templates. But a recent investigation revealed the company's most anticipated new product, an indigenous Earth genome, is raising concerns. Insiders say Bellany's departure comes after 2 former employees circulated a memo accusing the company of stealing germlines. For his part, Bellany says there was simply a misunderstanding and that his move was part of a long-standing plan for him to transition into an advisory position while the company restructures. The 2 former employees are not speaking to the media about their memo after allegedly receiving an undisclosed sum from Genetrix. Data source, official broadcast, the Venusian Cloud, 57,991. This ancient tale of corporate drama was starting to sound like the embezzlement plot twist in Sunbuilder 7. Scrubjay was intrigued. Definitely sounds shady, they sent. Moose looked straight into one of Scrubjay's main visual sensors, a silver globe in the roof over their head. There was one big customer who acquired the indigenous Earth germline right before old Archie transitioned into an advisory position. Guess who it was? The train spawned a new process to ponder Moose's riddle, while yet another one was smashing an advancing army that wanted to steal their guild's son. After a few seconds, Scrubjay addressed Moose again. It's Verdant's, isn't it? Chittering with laughter, the cat rearranged their paws. I've already got the receipts to prove it. Aside from that memo Ginkgo found, there are corporate records showing they bought a huge batch of licenses from Genetrix. Then, after the scandal broke, Verdant's vagued out where their germlines came from and denied any relationship with Genetrix. Their marketing materials said property owners will get access to artisanal lines sourced from Pleistocene sequences, which kind of makes it sound like Verdant's made them. But if I'm right, everyone who buys property here is still getting those Genetrix packages to use for building themselves nice Homo sapiens bodies, or for remotes. A wave of new passengers settled into their seats, and Scrubjay welcomed them before diving underground for the city's subterranean stops. For some reason, people didn't like to see transit soaring overhead, so the boring fleet had created roomy tunnels for the trains below ground. Sailing half a meter over a smooth floor, they announced the next stop and connected to the city's real-time transit map. A local train was moving slowly ahead of them in this tunnel. Scrubjay could fork into another passage that connected with Verdant Station and shave 30 seconds off the trip. Or they could go 1 level deeper into the freight tunnel, then back up to this level and save 40 seconds. The latter was the ideal route. Scrubjay transmitted it to the other trains in circulation. Affirmation came in 6 microseconds from the relevant local vehicles, and Scrubjay shot into the glorious puzzle space that was the intracity transit system. Sliding back up into the main tunnel level, Scrubjay managed to shave another 2 seconds off their arrival time. So all the Homo sapiens on Sasky have Genetrix bodies built with the genetic material those workers said was stolen? What would that mean? I'm trying to find out, the cat replied. If it's true that the Homo sapiens on this planet come from stolen germlines, well, it would be impossible for this planet to enforce its sapiens-only policy. Scrubjay pondered. That certainly would change things around here. That's an understatement, Moose bonked their head against Scrubjay's window lightly. The problem is that this happened over 3,000 years ago. Genetrix is long gone, and Archie Bellany died a few centuries after he stepped down as CEO. We know that Verdance bought Homo sapiens germlines from Genetrix, and we know that every buyer on Sasky, including behemoths like Emerald, licensed those germlines from Verdance. So it's Genetrix all the way down. The question is, did Verdance buy the allegedly stolen batch? And more importantly, why did those workers think it was stolen? Scrubjay pulled into the station with its grassy platform illuminated by skylights and the sidewalks overhead. People walked on and off, Homo sapiens brushing legs with Homo diversus of various kinds, cats, moose, beavers, naked mole rats, cows, and a cute drone carrying a group of worms. Could all those Homo sapiens really be living in stolen bodies? Stolen from whom? And with that intriguing question, we end the reading for today. Join us next time for the reading from Chapter 42. Thanks again. See you guys later.